In a quiet countryside town where the sun rises gently over golden fields and birds sing long before the day begins, lived a girl named Beth. She was known by everyone, yet not truly seen by anyone. Beth was soft-spoken, kind, and beautiful in a way that didn't scream for attention. Her hair always braided, her dresses handmade, her hands always busy, either kneading dough, picking herbs, or arranging flowers in small jars. But Beth carried a secret, a silent fear that followed her everywhere. She longed for love, not the kind in fairy tales, but a hand to hold, someone to build a life with, children laughing in the backyard. She dreamed of it every night as she listened to the distant crickets through her window. But the fear of rejection was louder than her longing. Every time a young man smiled at her, she looked away. Every time her friends found someone, she cheered for them with a smile, but cried softly in the dark of her room. "I'm not enough," she told herself. "Too quiet, too plain, too forgettable." Until the day everything changed. It was a late summer afternoon when a man named Jonas walked into her life. He was new in town, there to help his grandfather on the farm. He was kind, with eyes like the river, calm, steady, and deep. Beth first saw him at the village store where she sold her homemade pies on weekends. He bought a slice of corn cake and asked, "Did you make this?" She nodded, barely meeting his gaze. "It's the best I've had in a long time," he said, with no trace of flattery, just truth. And then, he came back. Every week, always asking a little more about her garden, her recipes, her thoughts on the weather. He never pushed, never rushed, he just showed up. And slowly, something began to shift. Beth found herself waiting for him, hoping he'd come. And one day, he arrived not with words, but with a wildflower in his hand. "This reminded me of you, beautiful but hiding between the leaves." Her heart nearly stopped. He wasn't trying to change her. He wasn't asking her to be louder, bolder, different. He was simply showing her, with quiet persistence, that she was already enough. And when he asked her to walk with him across the fields one Sunday afternoon, Beth hesitated. "I'm scared," she whispered. Jonas looked at her gently. "Me too," he said. "But we can be scared and still walk forward together." So she took his hand, and in that moment, she stepped not just onto a path with him, but into a new version of herself, one who still felt fear, but didn't let it decide everything. Today, Beth and Jonas live in a little house at the edge of town, with laughter in the kitchen and love growing in the garden. They married under a canopy of trees, surrounded by wildflowers and neighbors who cheered with tears in their eyes. And Beth? She's still quiet, still gentle, but now she walks with her head high, not because she changed who she was, but because she finally saw her own worth reflected in someone who dared to see her first. The moral of Beth's story is a gentle reminder that sometimes the fear of not being loved is the very thing that keeps us from receiving the love we deserve. Beth didn't need to become someone else. She didn't need to be louder or more confident on the outside. What changed everything was the moment she realized her quiet nature, her softness, and even her fears were not flaws. They were part of her beauty. True confidence isn't about never being afraid. It's about choosing to move forward even with trembling hands. And love? It often doesn't come with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives in silence, through someone who sees us exactly as we are and stays.
If Beth's story touched your heart, take a moment to share it with someone who might need a little hope today. Like it, leave a comment, and let us know, have you ever let fear hold you back from something beautiful? Your voice matters here. And don't forget to follow for more stories that inspire, heal, and remind us that even the quietest hearts have powerful journeys.